That's the noise I'm making. Let me know your thoughts on Sheffield United's defeat in the capital, 2-0 at Chelsea. I'm just kind of going to go through it as things happened. We'll begin, as is time-honoured tradition, at the start. Chelsea lined up with a new goalkeeper. In fact, his first start, Petrovic, Disasi, Thiago Silva, Badashil and Colwill at the back. Caicedo, Gallagher, I thought he was very impressive. Sterling, Palmer and Mudryk with Jackson up top as a lone striker. McBurney for the Blades came back in. Asula dropped out. How did you feel about that? Lowe was in for the suspended Jack Robinson after he picked up 5 yellow cards in the season. If you do watch the match previews that I do, you'll already have seen that my predicted team, which I've been getting quite a lot of these right recently, was spot on. So I'm pleased with that. Not that it made much difference in the grand scheme. Norwood, after his suspension, was back on the Blades bench. So 15 minutes into this first half, and the first real chance of the match fell to Conor Gallagher for Chelsea. He hit a shot straight down Wes's throat. It was actually after a poor pass from Austin Trusty. And there had been a few wayward passes from the Blades in the opening few exchanges of this game. That was kind of going to be a theme that would continue throughout the game, as well as possession. It was largely with the home side. Huge stats that we'll get to at the end in terms of possession for Chelsea. We had seen Archer fashion a shot before that real Gallagher chance, which was blocked. McAtee got forward, and we'd seen some nice touches and a good cross from Brooks on the left. Then the real Archer effort. It was a wicked effort. He's such a live wire. He was cutting in on 23 minutes from that left-hand side to shoot for the top left of the goalkeeper's net, and it took a deflection. He actually shot it with his right foot, and it went out for our first corner of the afternoon, and United did quite well from that corner. We forced another one straight away. Hamer does take a nice set piece. He took that second corner in quick succession. The second one, though, led to nothing. Let's talk about some of the possession, because I made a note after just 25 minutes, 81% possession in favour of the Blues, but one real chance and a speculative effort from Mudryk after he'd nutmegged Bogle was kind of all they had to show for it at that point. Mudryk would work some good space down the left again, but couldn't find Palmer, and the Blades survived on 29 minutes. Really nice move from United. Jayden Bogle crossed the ball after receiving a nice pass in the box from McAtee. Bogle crossed right across the face of goal. And it was one of those moments where McBurney had his head in his hands. He probably knows he could have made the run. And I mean, he started this move initially, so maybe he wouldn't have been able to get there. Archer, possibly, he held back slightly, but a great ball went begging. And I wrote this at the time. These sort of chances have to be taken because they're going to be few and far between. Well, obviously, as we know, at full time, absolutely. And United were really struggling as well to make the ball stick up top. I'm not saying that's the fault necessarily of McBurney, but whoever was getting that ball up there, whoever was up there at that point, hard to make it stick. Great work on 31 from Vinicius Souza. A block, a tackle, and a shield, all in the same few seconds from Vicious Susan, if I can give him the name that Tufty Club, very good podcast, check him out, have given him. He has looked more like the player we believed we were getting when we brought him in for, I'll say, big money. Certainly when we think of Sheffield United's transfer history, believed to be over 13 million, that's, for me, that's big money. Archer burst into the box on 33, and Badashil stopped the continuation of the Archer industry. And he was industrious for large parts of this first half, and it was a corner on the left for United. United couldn't do anything with it. Brooks was shaping, it was interesting this moment, for an overhead kick, but Mudryk feigned injury, and the ref, Andy Madley, bought it. Free kick Chelsea. A loose pass led to a chance for Jackson. He was one-on-one with Wes, but our number one stopped him, and the ball was cleared by Anel on 38 minutes. The pressure, though, in that first half was building from Chelsea, but the Blades in that first half were defending well, getting in vital feet, blocking and clearing, but often not able then to retain possession. And the natives were actually getting restless. There was a few murmurs around Stamford Bridge. I was looking as the clock was ticking over 40 minutes. They really were getting on their backs. United fans in great voice. McAtee received a yellow card on 42 minutes, presumably for foul language. Hard to know. He was frustrated with his own poor touch as the ball went out. He should have absolutely cushioned it. It was a lovely pass. I think it was from Souza, but it went out for a throw in. And then Caicedo caught Souza in the neck throat area with a loose arm. And I thought this is the moment. This is going to be like Brighton. This is where it's all going to change. The VAR officials did look at this, and Vinny was down for a time. Interestingly, Andy Madley did have the whistle in his mouth to blow for a foul when Caicedo caught Sousa, but he changed his mind and he allowed play to go on. And Sousa was then off the pitch for 30 seconds after receiving treatment. I mean, I don't know if it's treatment for, anywhere here, I guess it would have to be, the throat, neck, plus head area. He was getting the sort of tests that you get for a head injury. I mean, he didn't look injured, but it was interesting because it was a flailing arm. 2 minutes added on in the half where United, I thought, acquitted themselves really well against the billions of Chelsea. And El had done well, coming forward with the ball twice with purpose in the half. There was only one moment with Anel where he went to ground, perhaps when he didn't need to in that first half. It allowed Jackson to get past and to get a shot away, which wasn't a bad effort at all. Bogle, I thought, had done well, a good foot in to deny Palmer when he worked his way into a melee of people in the box in that first half. And Bogle got forward well a few times too. But it was 0-0 at half-time. 5 shots for Chelsea, 3 for United. But it was the possession. I said we'd come back to this. 79% possession for the Blues. So therefore 21% for Sheffield United. I mean, not going to be easy when you've not got the ball for that long. We went into the second half. Conor Gallagher picked up a yellow on 52 after a studs down the leg action on McAtee. Looked accidental, in fairness. And then the goal. Sterling created a goal on 54 for Cole Palmer. Crossed in the box from the right. And Palmer, the man I highlighted on my match preview as the danger man, he met the drilled cross well, and Chelsea had the lead. It was checked for offsides. At the time, I thought, nah, nothing good, nothing doing there. No one's offside. Seeing a replay again, I have only seen it once, but Jackson and Sterling, from the replay angle, did look offside when that initial pass was played, but the check was complete. You have to assume they got it right and the goal stood, but I'd like to see that again from a variety of angles. I mean, realistically, we have to assume when the kind of forensic detail they do with VAR, I say assume, I remember Lundstrom, you kind of want them to get it right when they're looking for that long. Chelsea then kept the attack up, playing with more freedom. The pressure visibly lifted, and I also thought United looked deflated. Asula was brought on for Brooks. I was quite impressed with Brooks on 57. United changed things, trying to make things happen, but it was a leggy start to that second half. I thought Sousa looked exhausted. He'd been playing fairly well, but I thought fatigue was creeping in. And that second goal was coming, and it came on 61. And what a horrible goal. A real mess on the right. Palmer, Sterling, Palmer, Gallagher flicking it up. It was eventually crossed to an open Jackson who tapped it in. He couldn't miss. There was a slip in there from Trusty. Wes didn't cover himself in glory. That's an understatement. A weak hand. And it was quickly looking like game over. I think we all knew United weren't in this game, in this occasion, the Premier League under Chris Wilder, we weren't going to score 2 at Stamford Bridge. One of the ugliest and most avoidable goals you'll see at any level of football. And then it was just a fairly routine second half for Chelsea after such good resistance from United in the first half. And this is often going to be the way, I fear, in the top flight when we don't have the ball and we're chasing around for long periods. Maybe you can do that for an hour max. These are physically very, very fit individuals. But when you've got so little possession, after 60 minutes, it's going to get far harder without the ball, especially when your opposition can bring on player after player after player who cost millions after millions. Another Blades change, McBurney off. Let me know what you made of his performance in the comments. And any Blades players, please also like this video by hitting the thumbs up symbol. Northern Irishman Norwood on 67 minutes. The returning Norwood, having served his suspension, replaced Ollie McBurney. We might as well have held a board up saying, you can turn this off now, you can stop watching, you can go home. It was over effectively. Thiago Silva, I just want to make a little mention of him. I know there'll be Chelsea fans watching this. Thiago Silva is a Rolls Royce of a defender. I know he's at advancing years. He's clever, good passing, reads the game so well. He is something else. Reminds me of Paul McGrath. No, but I mean, I'm sure the young Chelsea defenders are getting a lot of mentoring experience from a player like him who's seen it and done it all at the very highest level in Serie A as well as the Premier League and France. Hamer had a shot from a free kick on 17, not on target. Didn't look like it was on target to me anyway, but the keeper, maybe just relieved to have something to do. He pushed it round for a corner. Bogle had a shot from the resulting set piece, which was blocked. And United were coming back alive just for brief few seconds. Asula actually had the ball in the back of the net on 72 after a turn of pace from McAtee, worked his way to the byline, but the ball had gone out and the goal didn't count. Correct decision. And it was just extremely comfortable for Chelsea in the second period. You know, the thing that worries me probably is the games we've got coming up. You know, Villa at home, what is it, 16 or something like that? Games winning on the trot at home. But this isn't Villa. This isn't Man City. It's an out-of-form Chelsea side with several injuries. A year since they've won back-to-back games at home. Lowe picked up a yellow on 74, a slightly late tackle on Enzo. Chelsea sent on Broja for Sterling, who'd run his race, created the spark with that cutback for Cole Palmer. Broja would miss a great chance on 84, which looked harder to miss, but he skied it from 4 yards out. I'm actually friends with one of the guys that trained Broja when he was a young man, and I was kind of keeping a special eye on him because I've heard so much about him for so long. Hamer off, Anis Ben Slimani on 80 minutes of this match. I thought Slimani looked lively, actually, but far too late to change much. I've been saying it since I watched him in pre-season. I think Slimani needs to be starting games of football. We're now at the business end, really, arguably too little too late in terms of what we can do with the rest of this season. It's going to be really, really difficult. But I'd like to see what Slimani can do, because even if we are going to go down, what can he do so that we know ahead of next season? If we are going to survive, is he going to be good enough for the Premier League? If we are going to go down, is he going to be one of the star turns in the Championship? I feel like he might be. Free kick to Chelsea on 87, just to kind of wrap this game up after Palmer was fouled. The number 20 stood over it, a yard outside the box, you could say. And the kick was hit on target, but Wes, scrambling to his far post, saved it. He spilled it, and then he saved the follow-up from Jackson. Lowe went down for some time after that. We were into stoppage time. 6 minutes were added on, and United had to defend a corner without him, which we did. Archer had a shot in the box. It was a wild swing on his weaker left. That's probably why he doesn't shoot on his left, which didn't trouble the keeper. Palmer was the danger man. He was replaced, as was Jackson, by Gusto and Maatsen. United managing, according to the stats, 1 shot on target. I'm not sure exactly when that happened. I felt like I wrote down everything. 6 shots on target for Chelsea. And it feels like once we concede away from home against 11 men, then that is that. And I hope that balance is redressed. It's 31 years since we last won at Stamford Bridge. We can't keep giving the ball away as cheaply as we did in this match away from home in the Premier League. Yes, there was some very good defending at times, but some really sloppy moments that undid us. Let me know your thoughts. Let's just go through some of the comments. I'll try and go sort of back to the top, but didn't progress through the necessary gears to get anything out of it today, says Andy. And actually, I'd be interested to know what gear you thought Chelsea were in for large parts of that. Game of two halves. Yes, it was. The class and spending power was the difference in the end. I don't know if we've been found out today. I think this was always going to be a difficult game. Chelsea, as I've mentioned, have spent so much money. And also, that what did Poch do at halftime? I don't know, but it worked. Archer can't shoot, won't shoot. I mean, he did have quite 3 efforts today. But yeah, the target seemed to be eluding him, but difficult. Certainly the one he had in the first half where he was on that left, he cut in on the right. It was a brilliant effort, took a deflection. Had it not, who knows, might well have been on target and been a similar wonder strike like we saw from McAtee at home against Brentford. I am, though, concerned about non-repeatable actions. If you're relying on wonder goals, you know, you're not going to win games. Also, what else, Elaine? He's lost his arrows, Archer. Yeah, it could have been from the lack of being on target. Also, as well, not the result we needed, Forest Spirit wanted, but most likely expected. Onwards and upwards. Thoughts with Tom Lockyer and his family and friends. You'll have to excuse me for not knowing what that is in a reference to. If someone could let me know, I will, of course, check that straight afterwards. What I've done is I've just watched the Blades game come straight here after making some notes. Bean the Blade, good name. Need 3 to 4 in January. Yeah, and if we're going to bring 3 to 4 in, 3 to 4 are going to need to be unregistered from the 25 or are going to need to leave. Too many of our players can't keep the ball well enough. New keeper is a must. Where's Parry for the second was a joke. I did mention Wes not covering himself in glory. Should be Wes's last game, says Chris Eads. Goalkeeper is top of Wilder's wish list in January. That has been alluded to. A Danish keeper that's been rumoured that I spoke about. If you want to know who that keeper is and some scouting options on him, have a look at Fans React for the Brentford game where I go into a little bit more detail. 25 million to spend. Is that true? I don't know where you've heard that from, but maybe that'd be nice. Asula should have started. Yeah, I mean, I mentioned this at the beginning. Wanted your thoughts on that. First goal is offside. I wasn't thinking it at the time. Replays made me question it. So interesting that you say that. Villa is a game we will almost certainly lose, and Luton is a must-win. Palace drawing today with City is a blow. Yeah, I hear that. And absolutely, that Luton game, just the magnitude of that, it just gets bigger and bigger. The referee, Andy Madley, do you know what? I'm not sure he was someone that I'm really going to pick out as the reason, certainly, that we lost this game. There were some things he got wrong. There was a foul that he gave when Brooks, really good tackle on Gallagher, and he gave a free kick. And actually, Brooks won the ball from Gallagher, and the ball just rolled to McBurney, and he would have had a chance. It wasn't clean through, but he would have had a chance at 2 men to beat. And it was pulled back, and it was moments like that when I thought, bad performance, Ian Blade, but there was some good spells from Archer and Maka. Get Victor bought from Rotherham, a really good goalkeeper, someone that Nick and I mentioned at the start of the season would have been our choice for signing. Now, Tom Lockyer collapsed again. Yeah, of course he did before. That is absolutely awful. Do not like hearing that. Do not like hearing that at all. Thoughts with him and his family. Can we survive this season? I think it's going to be really, really tricky. Matthew says, on the way home from the game, we didn't play well enough on the ball. Unfortunately, second goal was classic soft goal. Yeah, and we have seen it all season. I'd offer 5 million for Rotherham's goalkeeper, top priority in January. I'll probably go along with that. I'll be back for Fans React. Thanks to each and every one of you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. I know it wasn't the game I particularly wanted to review or that we particularly wanted to keep talking about, but I appreciate you being here. Please like if you haven't yet. Please subscribe. And we're trying to hit 1 million views of all our videos, well, all of them, the videos we put out this year. If you get a chance to watch something you didn't get around to watching, some great player interviews, it would be really appreciated.